Jamaal Bowman takes a guilty plea, but this guilty plea is going to be dismissed, just like all of the other ones that we saw from Big Fani Willis in the Georgia prosecution, and they were alleged insurrectionists as well. So something's happening here. A lot of insurrectionists are getting deferred prosecution agreements, and Bowman is another one. Now, I'm actually in favor of this. I think that Bowman's deal should be given to all of the other so-called insurrectionists, all the people who were sitting in solitary confinement, all the people who got 18 to 22 years for obstructing an official proceeding. Go back, revisit their plea deals and their guilty verdicts, and they can all get the same diversion deal that Jamaal Bowman got, because nobody believes that this guy in this new video footage was just trying to walk out the door. Okay, you can see him there. He pulls the fire alarm and walks right on out of it. So he gets a sweetheart deal, and we're going to talk about what exactly it looks like, because he posted a statement, and now that the video's out, we can see that they don't match up all that well. But this is what the scene looked like. Jamaal Bowman turned himself in, walked in, and this is a smart play for him. Okay, it's a smoking deal. His charges are going to go away ultimately, and it's all going to just disappear. But this is what the scene looked like today.
Congressman Jamaal Bowman turning himself in moments ago. Fox News cameras capturing this exclusive video of the squad member surrendering. The lawmaker from New York is expected to plead guilty after being charged with falsely pulling the fire alarm at a congressional office building. It happened just before the House voted on a stopgap spending bill to fund the government. Last month, Bowman is set to be arraigned at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time.
All right, he was a member of the squad. I thought that was just the 4 of the others. So anyway, so he turns himself in. Right now, he is going in there, and this was his original statement. We're going to watch the video and see if it matches up. But when this happened, remember, Congress was right in the middle of a very important vote. They were trying to continue to spend all of our money hand over fist and continue to fund the government and so on. And they were buying more time. So he said, look, I know I pulled the fire extinguisher. I know we had to evacuate a bunch of stuff. And I know this was an obstruction of an official proceeding, but it was just an accident. He said, I want to personally clear up any confusion surrounding today's events. Today, as I was rushing to make a vote, I came to a door that is usually open for votes, but today would not open. I am embarrassed to admit that I activated the fire alarm, mistakenly thinking it would open the door. I regret this, and I sincerely apologize for any confusion this can cause. But I want to be clear, this was not me in any way trying to delay any vote. It was the exact opposite. I was trying urgently to get to a vote, which I ultimately did, and I joined my colleagues in a bipartisan effort to keep our government open. I also met after the vote with the Sergeant at Arms, Capitol Police, explained what happened. My hope is that no one will take it more than it was. I'm working very hard every day for my people. Peace and love is what Jamaal says. All right. So that was his statement. Now we got the police report and the video, and this is what the video looks like, right? So that was his original statement. Here's what it was. Now there's no audio on this, but where can I move myself? Boom. Walks up, door looks locked, and just pulls it. Boom, that's it. Pulls it, walks away. Like if you thought it was a switch, wouldn't you go back to try to open it again? Here it is. So walks right up, door doesn't open, sign comes down, presses the other one, presses the fire alarm, and then goes back. So if you thought it was a switch, wouldn't you try the door again? What is that all about? And why did he just knock the 2 signs down right on the floor? Here he comes again. Yeah, so you can't see that, like, he does have his body weight like right there, like he's trying to get out the door. And you know, maybe that's because he thought the alarm, right now, here's the other way you could take this. Like maybe he thought the panels, just by pushing it would activate the alarm. Okay. So he pushes the one, alarm doesn't go off. He pushes the second door, alarm doesn't go off. He wants the alarm to go off. So then he hits the third thing. Doesn't go off, doesn't go off. There we go. Got it. Right. He can see the sign clearly because he knocks it off, opens it, alarm doesn't go off, alarm doesn't go off, alarm goes off. Now I'm done. Got what I wanted done. Now he knows what a fire alarm is because he used to be a high school teacher. And the last time we talked about this, we shared the actual rules, like you get suspended and kicked out of school for a second offense of pulling a fire alarm. So that's what he said. I was confused. I was trying to get to a vote. Then he like tries to initiate both of them, whatever. But this is the police report. Let's see what it says inside. And you can see here it is, the affidavit in support of the arrest warrant. He turned himself in, and we're going to look at the plea deal, right? It's all going to go away. It's a diverted offense, a deferred adjudication. So an affidavit in support of an arrest warrant. We've got Jamaal Anthony Bowman, 5'10", 240, brown eyes, bald hair, black male. Let's see. Here's what they write. The following statements are for the sole purpose of establishing probable cause and an affidavit in support of an arrest warrant, and they do not represent the totality of the facts known to your affiant. Now, your affiant, Supervisory Special Agent Joseph McAtee of the U.S. Capitol Police Threat Assessment Section has investigated the following. On September 30th, 2023, at approximately 1200 hours, the members of the United States House of Representatives were called to a vote inside the U.S. Capitol building. At approximately 12:05 hours, the United States Capitol Police were notified that the fire alarm pull station had been activated inside the Cannon House office building on the second floor rotunda at that address. The fire alarm pull station is adjacent to an exit door facing Independence Avenue on the southeast. The Cannon House office building was subsequently evacuated, and a command post was established. The U.S. Capitol Police Watch Commander's Office observed security camera footage that resulted in a radio run for a lookout for a black male, bald, in a dark suit, dark tie, with a pin under their lapel. Who could that be? Subsequent callouts were relayed by the U.S. Capitol Communications that the subject of the lookout may have exited the northwest door of the Cannon House office. A photo of the defendant was distributed to all uniformed U.S. Capitol Police officers to stop and identify. So they put out a warning for this guy. Your affiant was contacted by W2 to respond to the U.S. Capitol to the room to interview the defendant once they got him. Oh, that's Congressman. We know who that is. This affiant was informed by W4, who stated W1 had recognized the defendant and contacted him, resulting in the defendant responding to room H125. So your affiant arrived at this location and was conducted a non-custodial interview beginning at this hours. In attendance was W1, W3. So, code names for whoever. Your affiant advised that the defendant, Jamaal, of his position and his agency of employment. He said, "Hi, I'm here with the Capitol Police here, Mr. Bowman. Do you know anything about the fire alarm that just got pulled, Congressman?" He says, "Yes." "Well, what happened there, Congressman?" He said, "Well, I was in the Cannon House office building at the second floor, attempting to exit to Independence Avenue." So the affiant, he says, I asked him, I said, "You have an office in the building?" And he said, "Yeah, I do." "What office?" He says, "It's room 345. "Okay, interesting. So can you just tell me what you saw and what happened at the door?" Jamaal said, "Yeah, the doors stated emergency exit only, push to open." And so he pushed the door and he pulled the lever next to it, which must have been the alarm. He pulled the lever next to it. He pushed on the door, as we saw, pulled the lever next to it, which must have been the alarm. He stated the door still did not open and he went to the first floor to exit. That's a lie. Still did not open. He didn't try to open it again after he pulled the switch. He just left. So he pulled the lever, which must have been the alarm, but he didn't even try to go back to the original door. And he went to the first floor to exit. They said, "Well, Jamaal, did you hear alarm sounds or did you see strobing lights or anything?" He says, "Yeah." Asked him the question, "Did you tell anyone about this before I talked to you?" "No, I didn't tell anyone." "And how come you were going out that way?" He says, "Well, I was hurried because the votes were being called." He says, "I didn't want to miss the votes. I'm out there trying to get the government funded, man. You want to get paid, don't you?" The defendant advised that usually when votes are called, all the doors are open. He says, I thought they were usually open, including on the second floor." He further stated that this door is a usual door that he uses. He said that he went to a Democrat meeting and a vote at the Capitol, and then the House Sergeant at Arms contacted him. He said, "Jamaal, did you intend to cause the fire alarm?" He said, "No." He said, "Did you intend to cause a security concern or some other problem?" He says, "No." "Did you intend to disrupt or obstruct a congressional proceeding or federal administrative procedure?" He says, "No." So he said, "Okay, well, I'm going to need your personal address." He said, "No problem." He said, "But I just got advised not to say anything else and obtained a lawyer." "Okay, nice going, Jamaal. You just answered a bunch of questions. Hello? You're supposed to say this, everybody, much earlier than this." Okay, just to be perfectly clear about this. Your affiant ended the interview, so he says, "Oh, now you want a lawyer? Thanks. I've already been asking you a bunch of questions. This should have happened back here." Your affiant was contacted to interview him. "Hi, do you know who I am?" "Yes." "Can you tell me what happened?" "No, I want a lawyer." So you see here, your affiant ended the interview at approximately 13:22 hours after he answered all the questions. Now, at September 30th, this officer responded to the exit door that was reportedly pushed open, and he went to observe the area. Now, he went and he observed that time that there were 3 posted signs, one standing from the floor prior to the doors, and 2 posted atop the push doors of the 2 doors. So he took 3 photos of the area on the issued cell phone from the department. And of course, we can see that in the footage. It's very clear. There's a sign right here. That's the first sign that blocks you from even going in this little corridor. Then there's 2 right up top. And just to be clear, while we're here, he does not go back and try to open the door again. Doesn't open, hits it, should go back to try to open it again, and doesn't. So that differs from his actual statement. Now, we continue. The first sign stands from the floor, is red with printed lettering that says emergency exit only. Emergency exit only. So he didn't read that one. The second 2 signs posted on top of the exit doors have white printed lettering that says emergency exit only, push until alarm sounds 3 seconds. Door will unlock in 30 seconds. So it has has instructions, actually. So if he would have read that, he would have known. Then the red pull fire alarm located on the wall to the left, painted red, white printed lettering. It says fire, push in, pull down, and has a white logo, says notifier by Honeywell. So this officer continues. He says, look, further investigation by me through a review of the security cameras revealed that on Saturday at 12:04 hours, Jamaal Bowman approached the exit door. He proceeded to push the right exit door push bar while grabbing the sign on it. When the right door did not open, the defendant then pushed the left door push bar, but that door did not open either. He wasn't holding it for long enough. He should have read the sign. The defendant then turned to his left, looked at the emergency fire pull station, and upon seeing it, he reached out and pulled the fire alarm down. Immediately afterwards, the defendant turned to his left, away from the exit doors. The defendant then walked away from those doors without looking back at them or trying to push them open, as he said in a lie to this officer right at the beginning. He said he tried to push his way back in. What happened to the door? It still did not open. He went to the first floor to exit, tried again, didn't work. Nope, sorry, Jamaal, busted. So your affiant reviewed the security camera footage. This footage showed 3 exit doors. At 12:04, 12:05, the defendant can be seen walking through the rotunda. So he's backing up, okay? So Bowman, he catches Bowman before he gets to this door. He wants to ask the question, did Jamaal walk by another exit? Like, is there anywhere else he could have exited? So I did review the security camera footage from the rotunda. This footage shows 3 exit doors to Independence Avenue, which apparently is where he wanted to go. At approximately 12:04, the defendant can be seen walking through the rotunda. The security footage shows flashing strobes and people in the balcony are covering their ears with their hands, damaged from this insurrection, appearing to be reacting to loud noise. We posted AOC. She posted a picture of her Apple Watch that said her heart rate was elevated. Okay, so she was having a panic attack. I don't know if she was ducking and covering like she did the last time. So then Jamaal Bowman enters the rotunda. He goes to the first exit door and appears to push the bar. When the door does not open, he walks past one exit door to another door, which then exits Independent Avenue. So this is after. And then he pushes the door on that handle. And when that door does not open, he jogs back across the rotunda from the area when he first entered. So this dude's like panicking now. He's just like running around the door. What's over here? Over here. Open this one. Open this one. Just like spastic. So then they get more security camera footage. They go into stairwell 3 of the Cannon office building, and it shows now Jamaal Bowman. He's jogging down the staircase. He's like, I'm on the run, man. Cops are after me. From the second floor to the first floor, where he then exits down the bottom of the stairs. Other security cameras then shows him walking at a normal pace out of the office, and now other people are exiting. At approximately 12:06, he passes 3 Capitol Police officers. This is a good officer. It's great. Hey, why didn't you stop and say something to the cops, man? You knew that. Did you think you set off the alarm? Well, how come you didn't tell anybody? You walked right by 3 cops, man. You didn't stop or say anything to them because he didn't think he was going to get caught. Oh, man, he's busted. He's super busted. And so the defendant turns right onto New Jersey Avenue. He continues walking for 15 feet, and then he starts to jog again. He's like, oh, man, I got to get out of here. Jamaal Bowman's running down Congress. Security camera footage shows the defendant continuing to jog alongside New Jersey Ave to the United States Capitol. After crossing, he jogs past 2 more Capitol Police officers. He's like, looking like this, running, you know, like he's like Jason Bourne or something, trying to escape his captors. And he goes at a kiosk, and then he begins crossing into Southwest Drive in the southeast. Then at 12:08, so now several minutes have gone by, he enters the Capitol. While showing his credentials, he walks past 2 Capitol Police officers again, who are posted inside the entrance, staffing the metal detectors, presses the elevator button, waits 10 seconds for the elevator door to open. And during the 10 seconds that he was waiting for the elevator, he's standing within feet of one of the Capitol Police officers and doesn't say anything to him and just enters the elevator. He thinks he's free. Due to the defendant's actions, the office building was evacuated for 1.5 hours. When he pulled the emergency fire alarm located here, there was no fire at that location. Therefore, based on the evidence, this affiant has probable cause to believe that he knowingly gave a false fire alarm. That's it, in violation of local DC code 2213-19A. Oh, come on. So he clearly was trying to get away with it. From the video, it looks like he was trying to set off the alarm, and he didn't talk to any cops about this. He didn't say anything about it until he got busted. Then he starts sitting down, tells them everything that they need, and then he says, I want a lawyer now. My gosh, we have some of the dumbest people in Congress you've ever seen. So that's Jamaal Bowman's arrest, and it's just outstanding. So obviously he's clearly guilty. Now, what's interesting about this is that he got a diversion deal. And boy, this is the same deal that we saw Jenna, Ellis, Sidney Powell, Kenneth Chesebro, and Scott Hall get in Georgia. And just to be be clear, right? We're seeing a lot of these deals, but here is what this outcome was. Bowman struck a deal in which he pleaded guilty, right, to one single misdemeanor offense. Now, there's a big difference between a guilty plea. You could have a guilty plea agreement. You could have a guilty plea deal, which is just a verbal agreement between you and the prosecutor. Do we have a deal? Yeah, we do. Perfect. Let's take the guilty plea deal and put it into an agreement. Let's formalize it, write it down. Great. We need to go to a change of plea proceeding so that we can enter in our plea agreement. Then you go to the change of plea. And so you can execute a guilty plea, but you can suspend that and defer the entry of that pending the outcome of some probation, which is what happened here. So according to the terms of the deal read aloud in court, Bowman's sentencing will be deferred for 3 months. And during that time, Bowman will be on probation, a $1,000 fine, and he's got to write an apology letter to the Capitol Police. If he fulfills these terms, the prosecutors will drop the charge at the sentencing hearing, and it will go away completely. It's literally the same thing that's happening for Sidney, for Jenna, and for all of those 4. It's the exact same thing. Now, obviously, this is outrageous because this guy should have been charged with the same things that the J6ers were charged with. Obstructing an official proceeding. It was an hour and a half. It was a loud, startling, violent attack that caused AOC to have heart palpitations or something. And so there should be full repercussion for this because they said that obstruction of an official proceeding was a great attack on American democracy, but not so much apparently when it's their side. Now, the reason I keep bringing up the other case, right, the Sidney Powell and the Georgia RICO case, is just to make it hurt for the left to show what a good deal those were. Those were such good deals that they're just going to go away because they keep saying, oh, they got guilty convictions and all this. Absolutely wrong. All of those cases are just like this. Now, a little bit longer, a little more serious fine, a little bit more serious term of probation, but it's the same exact mechanics. And so Jamaal Bowman here, of course, is getting a slap on the wrist. This thing's a joke. We all clearly saw on camera what he did. And to be quite frank about this, the Capitol Police know it too. What we like about this is the Capitol Police know it, and we know that the Capitol Police know it, and how we know they know it is because they really spent some time digging into this. He didn't talk to any cops at all. He was running down the street away from culpability. He was trying to escape responsibility for doing it, and they caught him. They busted him. And so I think that speaks to the truth of what happened here. But we now know that Congress is trying to censure him, and this was a resolution that came out from a House representative member called Lisa McClain, no relation to John McClain, the hero of Nakatomi Plaza. But here is what she has submitted here, a resolution to censure Jamaal Bowman. Submitted this one, and she says she's going to bring this one aboard. Says, whereas on September 30th, the House of Representatives was considering legislation to avoid a session of appropriations and the shutdown of the government, and Jamaal Bowman, the rep from New York, pulled a fire alarm to obstruct the proceedings of the House. The District of Columbia makes it a crime, a misdemeanor, punishable by 6 months in jail when you do that. But also, and more importantly, the United States Code forbids anyone from corruptly, by threats of force, obstructing or impeding any proceeding before Congress. This is what he should be charged with by the DOJ, just like the J6ers were. They say here the actions of Bowman forced the evacuation of the Cannon House office building and disrupted the Congress while the floor vote was already underway. Here, the interruption of the official proceedings by pulling a fire alarm was a theatrical attempt to cause panic, therefore endangering the safety and the well-being of members of the House and members of the public on the Capitol grounds. And so, therefore, be it resolved that the House of Representatives censures Jamaal Bowman for violating the district code, for knowingly causing a false alarm and obstructing official proceedings in the House, saying that Bowman must present himself well of the House for pronouncement of the censure, and that he will be censured, and all of this will be read into the law by Congress. And justice must be balanced, my friends. It's only fair. If he's going to insurrect America, well, insurrection-type penalties must be brought his way. And so, of course, we'll see where this goes, if it goes anywhere. I'm not sure that it actually will, but we'll cover more of Congress's idiocy in time, my friends. I hope you join us as we do. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting that like button. Thank you for checking out our website at robertgovea.com, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you on the next one.